and welcome to the Weekly Why. This week we're going to be doing the Parsha Vaera, which is the second Parsha or Torah portion in the book of Exodus. And the book of Exodus is the second book in the Torah. Now, just before we begin, I want to talk very briefly just kind of about what exactly, what the point of the Weekly Why is. Why we call it the Weekly Why. The Torah is a 3,300-year-old book, and we study it to find wisdom, divine wisdom, throughout our lives. And the question is, what is so specific about the Torah? There are a lot of books that are old and very old, and surely there are books even older than that. But what is it about the Torah that makes us learn it our entire lives? And so I'm hoping that one of the questions that we can constantly think about when we watch these videos is, what's the relevance for me in Torah? Not just as an academic pursuit, but what is it that I can really take in my life and really have that kind of wisdom with me forever? So that's, I'm hoping, one of the questions we can constantly ask ourselves. So as I mentioned, we're going to be learning the Parsha Vaera today, which is the second Parsha of the book of Exodus. And the book of Exodus is the second book of the Torah. Okay, there are 5 books in the Torah. There's Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, or Bereshit, Shemot, Vayikra, Bamidbar, and Devarim. Okay. So just at the end of last week's Parsha, Shemot, we had God talking to Moses at the burning bush, and God telling Moses, you are going to be the one who's going to take the Jewish people out of Egypt and who's going to be redeeming them. Moses put up a fight. He said, I'm not a man of words, I'm not able to. And God said, you need to be the one who does it. So at the beginning of this Parsha, we have Moses and his brother Aaron are confronting Pharaoh, saying, let my people go. And this Parsha has 7 of the 10 plagues in it. And the first 3 plagues, first one is the Nile River turning to blood. Second one is an infestation of frogs on the land, and the third one is lice. And according to Rashi, which is one of the top commentators who lived about 900 years ago, we'll hear a lot more from him in the future, Rashi said that these 3 plagues were not actually carried out by Moses. They were carried out by his brother Aaron. It seems very strange that Moses would ask his brother Aaron to carry out these 3 plagues, considering it was God who told Moses, you're going to be the one who's redeeming the Jewish people. It seems a little strange for Moses to ask his brother Aaron to do it when God had just told you. He just told you you're going to be redeeming the Jewish people, and then you turn around and ask your brother to do it. It seems very strange. According to Rashi, our commentator, there's a reason Moses asked his brother to do this. It's because the first 2 plagues, the first one, the Nile turning to blood, and the second one, the frogs coming out of the water and infesting the land, they both had to do with the Nile River. And Moses had a debt of gratitude to the Nile River for having saved his life. You may remember at the beginning of the book of Exodus, in chapter 2, I believe, it was Moses' mother who put him in a wicker basket, when she knew that his life was in danger, and she let him go. So it was the Nile River really that protected him there. And the third plague, which was the lice on the land, that came from the ground. And according to Rashi, Moses had a debt of gratitude to the ground because it was the ground that helped him hide the body. A couple chapters ago, I believe in chapter 3, or was it chapter 2, that Moses saw an Egyptian killing a Hebrew, and he killed the Egyptian, and he he buried him. And so it was the ground that helped him do that. And so, Moses had a certain debt of gratitude to the Nile River and to the ground, and that's why he wasn't able to, be a part of plagues that would hurt the land and the river in such a way. And it seems like an obvious question. Who the heck cares? It's an inanimate object. It's a river. It's the ground. It's not going to be offended if you do it. So why would Moses have done this, and what's the lesson that we can take from this? So again, obviously Moses, he was carrying out God's will, so he's going to do what God wants. So it doesn't really matter if the river is going to be offended anyway. First point, and second point is that the river and the ground aren't going to be offended because they can't think. They're not human beings. They're river. It's ground. So what's the lesson we can take from this? And again, taking a step back, Rashi said it's because Moses had a debt of gratitude to the river and to the land. The Hebrew word for gratitude is hakarat hatov. It doesn't really mean gratitude. The literal translation means recognition of the good. So Moses recognized that it was the river which saved his life and the ground which prevented him from being caught from that murder. Okay? And so the lesson from us is that here's Moses showing incredible recognition of the good for beings which are not animate in any way. They're rivers and they're ground. So the lesson for us is to show gratitude when we see it in reality. Every morning, Orthodox Jews, they wake up in the morning and they say, first words they say are Moda Ani, they thank God for having them woken up in the morning. They say blessings for having given them strength and life. And even the very word for Jew, Yehuda, comes from the tribe of Yehuda, Judah. And Judah, his mother, Leah, when she named him Yehuda, come from the Hebrew word hoda'ah, which means thankfulness. Long story short, there were going to be 12 children of the 12 tribes of Israel, and when Leah had her fourth son, she knew that obviously she had more than her fair share, because it would be 3, but she had her fourth, so she named her son Yehuda, thankfulness. So it's very central to Judaism, that idea of thankfulness and gratitude. And so the lesson for us is that, okay, well, what can we take from this in terms of recognition of the good? Because Hakarat Hatov is not just thankfulness. It's not just saying thank you when we see something which is good or appreciating. It's recognizing the good. And when we recognize something which is good, what we do is we want to pass it on. If somebody has said something very nice to me, or been very kind to me, or given me such an amazing opportunity, I don't just want to say thank you. That would be gratitude. But Hakarat Hatov, which is recognizing the good, I recognize it and I want to give it forward. So the lesson for us, the possibility for us is, how can we pay it forward? How can we, have that kind of Hakarat Hatov, that recognition of the good that Moses had? I would suggest sometimes taking a step back and seeing what we can do. For example, if we hear a really great Torah idea or a really cool thought that we didn't really think of, we really think is a nice idea, make a point to share with a friend or two. If you went to a really cool class or a shiur or anything like that, make sure to share the idea with a friend or bring them along with it, tell them about it. Or if you're going to a place for Shabbat or friends or family, see if you can invite a friend along with them. Again, everything that we recognize as good, when we see what somebody has given to us, that's Hakarat Hatov, it's recognition of the good. And the best way to recognize the good is not just by keeping it to ourselves and saying thank you, but it's by giving other people the same opportunity we've been given. So that's Parsha Vaera, and that's the second Parsha of the book of Shemot. I'd like to thank you, everyone, for listening. God bless, and Shabbat Shalom.